sleepless night, climbing away just to face the gray that clouds my story. But if I want a shot at glory, it's the price that I gotta pay. Another string of scrims all day long, I can't be wrong, it's my shot at glory. I need to tell it they want my story. No, I have to sell it and prove I belong. Mock all you want, talk all you can, I silence you all without a single word. Shout all you want, doubt all you can, there's nothing you can do to stop me now. Writing my origin on a road to redemption. I'll survive these proving grounds, climb to the top and claim my crown. No talent, no future, that's what they say I'm due for. I'll show you, soon you'll see just what's me. Riding my origin on a road to redemption. I'll survive these proving grounds, climb to the top and claim my crown. I'm chasing my only dream, on and on till I'm out of steam. The path ahead is mystery, but my vision's bright, it's my story.
And welcome to Proving Grounds, powered by Verizon. We find ourselves on the penultimate broadcast, and I'm honored to host today. I got Joshi on the desk with us, and joining us, we have Diamond from FlyQuest Academy. Thanks for coming on, Diamond.
Thank you. Happy to be here again.
I love it that every season you're willing to drop early in the lower bracket just so that you can join us in the finals week. Thank you for doing that for the
It's actually my
broadcast.
long plan.
Yeah.
Plan every single season. No, I'm just gonna retire into being like a broadcaster for Academy. You know?
Honestly, we'll take it.
You got the whole mercenary thing going on, right? You start off as a player, you come down, and you can start taking hard jobs, and games will make you do some dumb physical stuff later on. So we're all
Maybe. Although Diamond did finally learn that he can say no to stuff that we tell him to do this time around. So we'll see if we can actually get him to do a lot. Yesterday, we kicked off Proving Grounds finals week with one of the most iconic Academy matchups that we have with Team Liquid Honda versus 100 Thieves. Diamond, did you catch any of those games?
Yeah, actually, it was quite a good series. I think it didn't go like the whole way through.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 3-1, but I feel like it could have been way closer. I think TL kind of picked up their slack from the previous series. Like they were kind of like not like having the best drafts. I think they were like disrespecting a lot of the OP picks, and like they actually like picked it up, and it was really good to see that adaptation because in the last games they really cleaned them up, you know.
And Joshi, you were even casting that one. Game 3, a nail biter. But that was the big series, kind of momentum turn for Team Liquid.
Honestly, for me, it was kind of wild to watch this last fight that you actually see on screen because it was just, if I was in this game, I would be mentally shattered after that.
This was an LPL fight, by the way.
There's so much chaos going on.
Everyone played that so well. Like actually, like even the losing team, like they played it super well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, BMFX was this close to carrying that fight, right? If he doesn't get hit by the Nautilus ultimate at the very end, when I probably would have been sitting there and was like, there's no way he still has that. What the heck's going on?
Yeah, the saddest thing for me is that we've become so accustomed to watching 5 games between these two teams. If you look back at the history lesson, even back to summer finals with Proving Grounds, they played each other twice, then in spring finals this year, and now again here in the 4th place
Best
match.
of 25.
Best of 25. It's 13-11 now in favor of Team Liquid Academy. So let's take a look at the bracket so we can catch up on what that is shaking out to be. Not a 2 for 100 Thieves Academy, as it was a 4-game series ending the 5-game streak there, but now we have Cloud9 Academy that is waiting Team Liquid here after a pretty rough loss to Dignitas. Josh, that was kind of a speed run from Dig.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking at the strength of schedule a little bit for Cloud9, right? And they run up against their first real test to Dignitas Academy, who had just come off taking down Team Liquid Academy. And it feels as though Cloud9, they're still trying to find their stride again. They were looking really good during the regular season, but as they've come into Proving Grounds, they've had a bunch of amateur teams that they were able to run through. But as they come up against a stronger competition, are they going to be able to continue the momentum that they had during the regular season?
Yeah, it's going to be a big test, of course. But today, obviously, Team Liquid Honda continue their run and face Cloud9. Now, Cloud9 has a very storied history of developing talent that eventually makes it to the LCS. So here's a list of notable names that made that jump to LCS after being on Academy for Cloud9. Diamond, there's a, recognizable face there in the middle.
Yeah.
A little younger.
Yeah, actually.
Where's the beard? I don't like it, actually. It's like, now you're like a mix between Zazel and Old Diamond.
True, I'm the hybrid, the
missing
the
link.
third unit. Like it's just, but it's actually kind of cool that like our 3 players that from that year that were seen that was so successful actually got to promote together, you know.
Exactly.
And like, I mean, Blabber and like Zazel were like the OG. Like when I came into, they were like still there and they were really good, and I learned a lot from them. So.
Yeah, we actually looked back, right? And so we praised Team Liquid a lot this year for one of the most dominant runs that we've ever seen in an Academy team. But by win rate, that was your roster.
Yeah.
You had 2 seasons where you had more than an 85% win rate across all the games that you guys played, and like that's almost impossible to recover from. So it's exciting to see that you still are having success all this time later.
Yeah, I think we had the most winning Academy roster, probably, I would assume. I think Team Liquid is like probably close now, but yeah.
In terms of just, raw record. But it's cool to see how many names, like notable names, LCS fans should recognize that have come from the Cloud9 Academy developmental kind of like ecosystem, which kind of brings us into the next point we want to highlight. There's a lot of returning players that have actually been on Cloud9 Academy for a very long period of time. Usually for Academy, kind of average span for a player on an org, on a team, usually about a year, maybe
About
2.
a year. Sometimes even as little as a split.
Sometimes it's only a split, but here, well, let's actually do a quick history lesson because we noticed something interesting about both Cloud9 Academy and Team Liquid Academy, but we're going to highlight for C9. 3 of their members, the core of Cloud9 Academy, have all been together since spring of 2021. That's a long time for an Academy crew to stick together, but then we got to go all the way to summer of 2022 right here. This is where the 2 new additions came in. So let's start with the core. Let's start with King, Copy, Darshan, the 3 players that have been with this team for the long run. They even had a chance to go for the finals in PG of spring 2021, Josh.
Yeah, and look at how long King's been playing for this organization, right? He's had some time to play in the LCS level. He's been playing a lot with Academy too, and so just seeing all the movement that he's made across the career has been fascinating. But you look at the core of Copy, Darshan, and King, and then you look at the new players. Like my favorite one is AoE Cope right there. Remember AoE Junior Turmeric, the last team that we had from amateur coming into Proving Grounds? You know, he was playing for one of their sister teams.
A reminder for anybody that is unaware, if you're an LCS fan tuning in to check out, the finals week, AoE, kind of a more notable.
Had about a dozen
org.
teams.
They've had like 5 rosters at different times in amateur tournaments. But Shaden, of course, is the one with the least experience, right?
Yes.
When we just look at that raw skill coming in, he was kind of more like a solo queue prospect. But Diamond, you actually had some interesting information about Shaden back when you were even on Cloud9 Academy.
Yeah, when I was looking at talent for the year 2020, because I was providing feedback for Jack on like which player we were looking into. We were actually
all the way back here.
Yeah,
in
basically
this
the
zone.
beginning of the graph. If Shaden wouldn't have been competitive banned, which happens,
happens.
It blows, and he would have been like all the way pretty much because that's when we were looking at him, and he was like one of the candidates for us. Like we were looking into him for sure. And for King, he had like a small gap in the second split because Stumble played in the second split due to King's visa being doomed, and then I think, and then into the next year he had like a stint with like the whole roster swap thing. So if you look at this whole bar, he actually didn't play that much in that bar.
Yeah, we're mostly looking at the beginning of spring 2021.
Yeah,
Kind of like
like-
sub, had a few games, but mostly.
Which is why I don't like a lot of the narratives around King, where that he's like people are giving me a lot of flack, especially because he played in LCS and he had like a bad like run. I think King is way better than what actually showing, because he didn't get to prove it that much. So
I also want to highlight Copy, a player, Joshi. I mean, 100 Thieves Next, almost like a legendary team now. That class has gone on to do a lot. Tenacity, Kenvi, Copy was on it, Jan as well. A lot of those names fans will probably recognize. That was a pretty crazy roster, and Copy was part of that way back in 2020.
Yeah, again, that class of 100 Thieves Next was so strong throughout the entire time that they were together, and we've seen, again, a lot of them move on. And as we continue to look at these players, right, as you see on your screen, this is the first time for some of these players to actually play on stage, even though Copy's one of these players who has had a lot of success so far in the Academy ecosystem. He's been doing it during the pandemic. He hasn't had an opportunity to play live in front of audiences.
Yeah, I actually want to dive a little bit more into that, Diamond, because you're a player who's had some experience playing on stage before, right? So I want to get your opinion of these new players. 2 players new to the stage. What should we expect from them? Is there any level of stage nerves that you think is like almost expected at this level?
I think it depends on where you were brought up from. I think if you're an older player, for example, you kind of like before COVID, especially, you were like kind of brought up into an environment that's like more LAN. Like you would go to with your friends, like at the LAN cafe or something, and like play a tournament. Then you get like used to like the pressure of playing a different setup. I think for a lot of these players, they didn't have the chance to do that. So I expect them to have some nerves, and maybe it might be harder for them. But I think like C9 usually has like kind of like a good infrastructure where like they have like a setup, like they usually play like the game matches on. This is what the LCS team does, so maybe they're used to it, you know.
Fun fact though, nerves and excitement, same physical bodily reaction, Joshi. I mean, whether you're excited or you're nervous about it, you're getting in that zone. You're getting ready to perform. And I know Kabi was actually catching up a little bit with Kabi before he came in and was like, Kabi was saying how excited he is to play on the stage. This is a big moment for some of these players.
You got to say it, right? You still got to say you're excited no matter what, because we have been seeing a lot of these newer players, right? With 100 Thieves in spring, we saw that they really had some struggles as they actually came onto the field, because they're just like, oh my God, I have to speak louder into the microphones. I can hear people in the audience. I can kind of just barely make out what the casters are saying. Can't let that distract me.
Different light.
Even the white noise sometimes like throws people off. I remember like when I played with Zin on stage with NXI.
Yeah.
He would always cough because he was just so nervous. That was like his nervous state. He's like, I'm going to do full clearing, guys. I was like, what are you saying? Like a lot of players have like some weird like reaction to it, and like, it makes like might throw them off, you know.
Well, obviously, that'll be a big test for the new players coming in. But 7 out of 10 of the same players competing against each other now today actually competed against each other in the 2021 Summer Academy Finals. So this truly is a rematch between these two teams, Josh.
There's so many players coming back, right? You even get to see, there's Jenkins and Dokla who both had opportunities to play on this roster at the time. But it's kind of wild that Cloud9 and Team Liquid have had such strong rosters for such a long period of time. Well, they each had their different opportunities where they kind of busted out of Proving Grounds a little bit. It was a little doomed because they had the second seed curse. We still know that all of these players have had a ton of success, and there's lots of arguments, especially coming from the community, that some of these people should be seeing opportunity to play LCS already, and it's kind of doomed that they are still down here in Academy.
A little bit. That went to the full 5 games, and a reminder, of course, that back in those days, even just 1 year ago, the format was a little different. We actually had playoffs for Academy. You remember that one, Diamond?
Yeah, it was,
playing through that. It was a different format.
You lose, like go home. Pack your bags. It's over.
You still got Proving Grounds afterwards, regardless of whether you won or lost, right? It's like playoffs into real playoffs.
Now there's like more like comeback potential, and like some teams like form themselves and like get better like near the end. I think like there's more like underdog stories, I think. Because like Dignitas, if like there was no like playoffs, would have been, maybe like out easily, right?
Yeah.
So.
And also with the double or best of 2, it's of course way more games to play. So it's just always cool to see how that affects the potential for comebacks. But of course, the bot lanes of C9 and TL, for them, this isn't a rivalry that started last year. We actually have a few words from Ayla and King about how they think today's 2v2 might go.
It's sort of weird playing against Ayla because like, in my time in OS, Ayla was like never considered like a really good player, and then just seeing him have success and like actually beating me, it's sort of like unreal to me. But I mean, I can't take away from like that he's actually improved a lot. I think the time he's actually used his time in NA very well, but I still do like, I get really angry when I lose to other OS players, but I do think he's like not a bad player. Yeah.
Are you excited to play versus tomorrow? How do you think it's going to go?
Let me just say, if you guys see scrims, we might stomp them.
Oh. So you're saying it's going to be a big ball gap tomorrow, or what?
There might be a big bot gap, yeah.
Okay. Sounds pretty hype.
As we look at this once again, you kind of have to remember, right, King is an almost intergenerational player. He's been playing in Oceania for so long, and with a lot of veterans, you kind of have to think back. It's like when Ayla came up, he was in the equivalent of the OPL Academy, right? He was not good at the time, but even now, years later,
that's the face of a man ready to win a
sleeper. He is ready. He is ready to take down this young comeuppance.
Wow, he's just chilling right now. This is fantastic. All right, Diamond, I want to get your thoughts on this bot lane matchup, because obviously you've played against both of these bot lanes throughout the regular season. Do you think that there's going to be a gap?
I think they're pretty even. I think if something's going to happen, it's going to be like the rest of the map. I think like for them, I don't think like there's too much like skill difference between both of them. I think Jan and King are like, I think when King's at his best, he's like pretty up there. Yeah. He's very good at like funneling. Like when I first started playing with him, actually, what I really like from him is that he's really good at like funneling everything on the map. Like he will go 12, 13 CS per minute. Like he will just take everything and carry the game. That's really his style. Yeah. And I think Jan is like a player that's like kind of like not very similar to him. He's like more like he will do with what he has, and like he will do like really well no matter what he has. So.
One of the things that I think has been interesting watching both these bot lanes so far in the past split at the least, like it feels like both of them have been very willing to just flip it level 2, right? You just see a lot of action right off the bat, and you know that's not something we're seeing from Jan and Ayla nearly as much in spring. But King and Destiny, like they came together and it's like, yeah, we're feeling confident, we're gonna fight.
Yeah, I mean Destiny's that kind of player.
I think it's crazy that you're saying that you don't expect a gap. When we just look at from the perspective of the player potential here, we have the most valuable prospect award that we give out. Ayla was runner-up, but was right there with Busio. So close. It was so contentious between those two. And then Jan was 5th place. So we actually have 2 members.
Yeah.
The bot lane for TLA have both members in the top 5 most valuable prospect list.
Actually, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, Diamond, and so a lot of people think about the most valuable prospect, and we saw a lot of the other Academy players being like, why is Mayo not on this list?
Yeah.
And so Destiny actually chirped me earlier in the season, right? It's like, I had a short list, like, look at all these players I think are great. He's like, where are all my Cloud9 players? And so we start looking at like the growth that we think is still going to be coming out from all these players, and we know how strong King and Destiny are. We know Mayo is going to be this strong player, but we look at players like Jan and Ayla and we say, we don't even think they're close to their peak yet.
There's a roof that they haven't hit yet. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree?
I mean, if for what it does, right, the list is like it's like a list like for newer players, like how far they've come from like the past, like
for essentially
year,
the rubric was 2 years from now
Yeah.
in LCS, how many wins will they get their team in that amount?
I think, I mean, it's just like speculation, right? I think it's like, I mean, I think the list is like fine for what it is, right?
Okay.
To me, I will put like much better players like up there, you know, like the veterans like that are like keeping the teams together, because I don't think the rookies can do well without the veterans that are holding back personally. So like I don't think TLA would be as good if they didn't have Armao, for example, because he's really like the role player. He will just like take everything, like he will sack himself in the draft. He will do everything for his team, you know, raise them, help them. So that I think that's his thing. I think having a jungler like him, if you're a newer player, is really good.
He is the general, as we call him here. And it's interesting that you bring him up because bot lane is not the only hot topic. Jungle experience can decide some of today's matches. Armeo's got the gauntlet of rookies to run through here in the top 4. He just took down Will in his rookie split or rookie year. He got a little experience last summer, but now he's up against Shaden. So let's talk about the jungle matchup here and maybe compare and contrast some styles. Josh, I want to get your thoughts on this one first here. Maybe let's start with what's similar. You know, talk me through how these two could potentially match up equally.
Well, it is worth noting that once we've gotten into Proving Grounds, their pools have started looking even more similar than they did in the regular season, right?
Yes.
We have seen that Shaden in the bracket has only been playing Poppy, Viego, and Wukong, and when he's really pushed, he tends to find a little bit more success on the Wukong and Viego, the characters that were strong at the beginning of this split. Whereas Armeo, he's been willing to play weird things, right? He brought out the Olaf, he brought out the Bel'Veth in their series against Dignitas, and it's a lot of opportunities for them to kind of play a lot of similar champions now when they're in the bracket to try and help out the rest of their team.
Honestly, I don't know, Diamond, if you see the same thing. When I look at Shaden's champ pool there, I was seeing a lot of Kenby comparisons in terms of things like the Kindred, things like the, you know, the Graves.
They're really good friends, so maybe that's where it comes from. But it's like they're like in the same friend group. But yeah, to me, like the Armao running through all the junglers, like the newer ones, like reminds me of the Kanye West meme, like scores 102 points versus a high school team, whatever. Like, you know, it's just. Yeah, it's like Armao versus like a bunch of rookie junglers. Obviously, they're not bad. Like Shaden's good, you know, but it's like he doesn't have the same experience, and like the champ pool is like very different. Whereas like, for example, Armao plays more for his team. He picks like the OP champ. Usually like has a really good read on meta with counter picks and stuff. He will always pull out his Olaf if you pick something that's bad into it. Pulls his Bel'Veth versus Poppy. It was like an LPL thing where like the LPL teams were like doing it.
Yeah,
I think he picked up on it, even though he didn't let them win. It was still like he was one of the better Bel'Veth players when it was really OP.
And that's the thing about Armeo is that he has all this experience to pull from against these rookie junglers that have a lot of fire, a lot of mechanical power, but sometimes the decision making, I don't know if we want to call it predictable, if we'd go that far, but Josh, you did notice a trend when it comes to Cloud9 Academy and how their jungler likes to kind of move around the map. What are the odds? Well, first off, explain the trend you noticed, and what do we think the odds that a team like Team Liquid Academy and a jungler like Armeo will realize that and capitalize?
The big thing, okay, so I want to go back a little bit to spring. We were actually talking to Surdy quite a bit, and we were asking him, what is it that you think Dokla and Darshan do better than you? And he was saying, they call their jungler to the top lane, right? They just have so much more authority in their voices to bring people up to help them out. And Darshan has been using that to great success as well throughout the course of this split. And Shaden, his most successful games, when he goes top lane, he dives them 4 times in a row. Like, there's nothing the top lane can do. Shaden feels like he's always there. And earlier in the season, I was expecting Cloud9 to consistently do this. I thought it was so easy to do it to Bradley in the first half of summer.
Yeah.
But now is when it starts becoming a lot more tough because, you know, even you were saying, Diamond, that Bradley has improved so much since his spring debut.
Yeah, I think he's probably the most improved player out of like any player in Academy. I think it would be Bradley, personally. I think he's from like the get-go. I think he was like probably the 10th place top laner in Academy when it first started.
Top 50 Academy player.
Top 50, yeah, maybe top 50.
Out of 10, yeah.
But he was like right now he's like contesting for the best. So I mean, props to him. That's like really impressive.
I'd love to dive more into the top lane matchup, but before we do that, I want to get back onto the topic of Armeo and reading Shaden.
Yes.
Do we think that, because we've seen Team Liquid Academy do a couple different, you know, unique takes of how do we play around a player like Bradley. Obviously, he's improved a lot, but sometimes they would just leave him on the island and say, look, we're going to play to other lanes and just win there. But do you think that that's going to change in this series? Do you think Armeo says, no, we trust Bradley, I'm going to look to play and assume that Shaden will be hard camping him?
Well, because top lane is going to fight, we'll talk about that a little bit more. They're going to fight. I don't think Armeo can afford to just leave it on the island, right? And again, I think it's more of a Shaden read than it is necessarily a Bradley or Armeo read, because Shaden, nobody can test that he might be the most mechanically gifted player in the jungle, arguably all of Academy. His hands are next level. He's so good. But
he was also in the top 5.
He was also in our top 5 for most valuable prospect. But
number 3.
If he doesn't have success in the first 5-10 minutes, he oftentimes will not necessarily have the same kind of impact on the rest of the game. And so if Armeo shuts him down, if he just goes top lane and says, hey, Shaden, I see you're there. You're standing on a ward. Just don't go for a gank, okay? Then that's going to be Armeo's real ticket into victory. You just shut down Shaden early on, and you can do that very easily if you know he wants to go top lane.
Yeah. Shaden actually number 4. Quick correction there. I realized because Yuji was number 3. Also a rookie jungler. There's so many rookie junglers in the league, which is very exciting to follow.
Darn junglers.
What was that?
These gosh darn junglers.
These gosh darn junglers, man. But I honestly, not to slight Armeo by any means, but I think maybe part of the reason why we've seen him excel so much is because he can get the better of a lot of these rookie junglers. But now it's the end of a season. It's the end of a year, where all these rookies have had all this experience playing specifically against him, that now maybe they can, finally.
So Will did it yesterday.
Yeah, Will did get the better of him a couple of times. But one piece to leverage in this matchup also will be the top lane. So obviously Cloud9, they have a big name up there in Darshan. A lot of LCS players will recognize him. What do you think about Darshan's current form, Joshi?
Right, like, let's be real. Darshan has been a player that is the benchmark by which you test all other top laners as they come into Academy, right? He is such a strong 1v1 player. He will play for his level 1 more than any other top laner I've ever seen in any league. He will just fight you to the death right at the beginning of the game. But this is a player where if his 1v1 kind of gets interrupted, we saw what happened to him going up against Dignitas when Gomps would find these early game leads. Darshan ends up with 5 deaths. So this is going to be the test for Darshan. Lots of people are saying that they think Bradley has already gotten the better of him. Can Darshan live up to the Darshan that we knew for years and years as a player that was going to have success on the LCS stage?
Yeah.
Oh no!
These Cloud9 players.
Oh no!
Somebody get them an energy drink, get them a cup of coffee. Or no, this is the meditation.
Don't want to see.
Actually.
Do not see.
Maybe this is the opposite. Maybe this is he's getting into that mindset. At the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to.
He's 0.25 seconds
like
vital.
Chainsaw Head, not gonna lie.
He's processing the entire lane matchup in his head. Yeah. They've already figured out draft. He knows what the matchup is going to be, and he's playing out the first 5 minutes. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to take lethal tempo, and I'm going to rush him. Okay, but I want to talk about the Bradley side of things now, because he is a player that obviously role swapped from mid up into the top lane. Diamond, what do you think about the improvement that we've seen from Bradley in 1 year, already kind of arguing for that top 2 in his role?
I think it's pretty impressive. I think he has an edge on a lot of the top laners when it comes to playing like a Kali and like Salas, like the melees that play in the top side that were good mid. I think he's very professional on those picks, and it like shows because they usually flex it with the mid laner. And I think that's an edge that TL has over a lot of teams. And I think it comes from his experience mid, and I think he surpassed his mid level on top lane actually already. So I think he's improved a lot. Yeah. So.
Bradley on the Rift is absolutely crazy with the kind of aggression he was often going for, right? Sometimes he would try and go for flanks and go a little bit too hard, but Bradley off the Rift, he's the kind you take home to mom, right? You just watch the way that he plays. He is so humble. A story that Copy was having was that he would always have opportunities when Bradley was still known as CP Freeze and he got smashed in a scrim. He would instantly message his opponent afterwards and be like, yo, you played really well. Can I ask a couple things about the matchup? He was always striving to improve, and going up against players who are good at the 1v1, like Darshan, like Tenacity, has driven his improvement in the lane so quickly.
Yeah, another name that came up on the most valuable prospect list a lot. At the end of the day, I mean, you can only pick 5. And there are already 2 other Team Liquid members on that list. But Bradley was definitely one of those players that we've already seen improve at an impressive rate. If he continues to improve at this rate, it will be even more impressive, right? Like, the ceiling could be very high for a player like Bradley. He's wearing the hood, too.
Oh.
This is like the perk
Bradley.
strat, like having the cap to block the light.
WWE, like before you get on the ring and like you just start walking on stage, like that's what he's going for.
Yeah.
And then when the game starts, pulls it off. That's when game on.
Yeah, I think more Jedi robes though. I mean, it's got the
Look,
the
it's
light.
not a story Team Liquid to tell.
Is that even legal? Can you have a hood on stage?
Yeah, actually, we'll have to check with the rest. While we do that, of course, before we get into the match as well, we had a few words with both Bradley and Darshan. So let's take a look.
In Split 1, I really struggled against Darshan, mainly because I feel like, you know, especially like paired with Mouse, who's kind of like a fast skitter jungler, I always like was on my toes about kind of like where my jungle was or where their jungle was. And sometimes I found it really hard to kind of keep track of my lane and jungle, and that would cause me to like lose focus. And I think Darshan really capitalizes on that. He does a really good job of like bluffing where his jungler is a lot of the time, and sometimes I would really struggle with that in Split 1.
I think Bradley has improved a lot over. When did he start top lane? Yeah, he was a mid laner last year, I think. Yeah, so he was first a mid laner, and I think when he first started top lane, he had a lot to work on. But I think that he has gotten a lot better over like this year, and I think he's probably one of the top laners in Academy.
Darshan and Gimsu, to be honest, I think they're both beatable, but you know, it'll definitely be like, it won't be easy by any means. You know, I still think they're both really good players, and yeah, I just think Sassy's a little better, so.
I love hearing the dynamic between a player like Bradley, who's getting used to a role at the beginning of the year, learning from a player like Darshan. That's something that I always valued from Darshan in Academy, is it felt like he'll play the Jax, he'll play the Tryndamere split push, he'll play all these champions that not everyone who's still, you know, developing at the Academy level can play at this level.
Yeah.
And you have to learn. You have to get the reps in against those to understand how to deal with that matchup.
And this was a meta where people were playing 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 unique champions across the
19, 20.
Like,
We can
the
keep
number
counting
of
up.
unique matchups that you constantly had to go through throughout this year was absolutely insane. We've never seen that. Never seen that across this kind of competition before. Just the number of characters you had to learn. Bradley was so quick to adapt.
Yeah. Awesome to see that he's able to learn from a player like Darshan. But with that said, all that's left for us to do is deliver our predictions. So we're getting ready for the match. I want to start at the end. Joshi.
Look,
Who you got?
If you've been watching this entire time, this might surprise you, but I'm going to go with another, yet again, Team Liquid 3-0.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to call you out right now because you said that we wouldn't expect your prediction, and that's the most like predictable prediction.
But if I
for
said
Joshi.
you wouldn't expect it, did you expect the unexpected expected?
You know what? Maybe he was playing mind games. Diamond, you got anything else for us?
I think it's gonna be 3-1 for TLA. I think C9 has actually a chance. Yeah, 3-1 for TLA. I think there's a chance that C9 can actually win, but I don't think it's like too one-sided. I think it just depends on individuals like stepping up and like what C9 has been preparing.
Team Liquid don't drop a game. They haven't dropped a game this entire tournament, right? Right? Cope?
Well, I will admit I had a 3-0 as well. Sorry, I hate to break it to you, Joshi. They have dropped a couple of games. I had a 3-0 as well, so I want to hear, Diamond, how did Cloud9 get their one win? We got 40 seconds.
Draft diff.
Give it to me quick.
It's always draft diff. In the BO5, one game, like they pull out some stinky cheese and you lose, and this is the way it works. But,
Do you have a prediction of what that draft diff will be? Like what the pick is?
I mean, it might be something around like Sivir or, you know, like Zeri, and, you know, when Zeri gets a pentakill randomly and then she wins the game. That's usually how League of Legends works lately.
All right. I'm feeling like a Shaden Kindred. I want to see something crazy like that. I want it to be.
Talia.
I want Shaden to be the reason that they get the win, because then of course the jungle matchup is just that much more exciting. But with that said, we are ready for game number 1, and we already have LCS Doug duo. So let's send it over to Academy, Diglett, and Mr. Mime.
What did he just say? Kangas, keep talking that crap. You'll see what happens. You'll see what happens. But welcome to the Cast and Des. My name is Des Rooks, and of course, joining me is Cubby, and we are live. We are here. We are on stage. Cloud9 Academy versus Team Liquid Honda Academy.
Man, it's always special to get in the studio, whether it's us in the booth or the players on stage. And I'm really excited for this matchup, as these are two teams that, as our desk was hitting on, a lot of history in Academy, but also two teams that we had middle of the season as favorites to make it to the grand finals, now playing in the losers finals to try and book a spot against Dignitas tomorrow. Really excited to see which team steps up today.
I want to point out why that was going on in the middle of the season, right? Cloud9 climbed the ladder as we went through the season, from 9th place all the way to 3rd to end off, to set up for Proving Grounds, while Team Liquid held that 1st place throughout the season. But both of them now having their struggles, as they're both in the lower bracket finals. Only one of them can head to the finals against Dignitas.
And yesterday we talked so much about how 100 Thieves Academy and TL Honda had been battle tested on their way through the lower bracket for 100 Thieves, then TLA, of course, dropping that series to get knocked down, having to come back and reverse sweep Immortals Academy as well to get back up. And now, I think that what TL did yesterday on stage, I think that really gives them an advantage heading into the games today. And also, I was so surprised how C9 found themselves here, because they were given that opportunity to play that best of 5 to make it into grand finals. But Dignitas were the ones that toppled them. And that the manner in which that happened was a big surprise for us Academy fans, as that 3-0 for Dig really sent shockwaves throughout the lower bracket.
Oh, it definitely did. They're already waiting in the finals right now for the winner of this match, but we have to look at this both ways. You know, both of them now having their struggles. Team Liquid, such a splendid start to the season, but now being sent down there. Being sent down there to the lower bracket. It is a fight back, but it's a fight back that they've adapted to quite well. As we do get through the draft right now, getting some of the picks. Gotta excuse me, you know, we kind of got too big into the conversation that we were talking about here. Kalista, Volibear, Trundle, you know, a lot of those Armeo specials being taken off the table, as well as Yuumi and Poppy Wukong. As the first picks coming in, TLA are happy with the Aphelios and Lulu locking in that bot lane, Jan and Ayla, while Cloud9 Academy will still away that Zeri that Jan's so fond of.
And that Aphelios yesterday between Jan and BMFX was so critical for each team in the series. But another pick that we have seen be very critical for TLA, it's been the Ahri. Between both of these players, they are undefeated on Ahri this split. It's 4-0 for Copy, 8-0 for Harry. We saw him win games 3 and 4 on that Ahri yesterday as well. So that takeaway for C9A by Ahri is a combo very commonly used to attack Zeri. The fact that they have that now in their hands, they can utilize this to attack the backline of Team Liquid Honda.
Oh, and attack the backline they will. That's a Vi locked in. Most likely going to Shaden. There have been some cases of it going over towards that support pool, but it's great at locking down onto that marksman, going onto Jan, making sure that you can get that deep dive going. Team Liquid Honda Academy, however, going to respond with something that's been all too stock standard, but really strong in the current meta, and that is Azir.
And Azir into Ahri, someone that has had the privilege of calling into LCK a bit recently and watching Chovy play that matchup. It's very Azir favored if your name is Chovy. We'll see if Harry can try and replicate that against Copy, but at the moment, it is a jungler showing for Cloud9 Academy and a support showing for TLA. So TLA banning out some supports to try and protect that. Aphelios Lulu, I like the Nautilus ban. Just more point and click CC that Ahri Vi can capitalize on. I think that's intelligent to take away. And in the hands of C9, we're going to have to see which junglers they decide to take away from Armeo. As with that Vi showing, they have the opportunity to protect Shaden a little bit, and they will by taking away that ult off that both hits the pool of Bradley and Armeo on the side of TLA.
Curious what Armeo's going to go for here. As the analyst desk said, he's the general. He's the one who facilitates a lot of the early game, and you know, a lot of the entirety of Team Liquid Honda Academy's gameplay for Academy. So I want to see what he's going to take into Shaden onto this one. Of course, he has great tracking, very good at spotting out where people are going to go.
So that Gnar ban, I do want to highlight it because it's been Darshan's common answer into Fiora. And we've seen Bradley's Fiora be very big in PG. It's 3-0. It won yesterday. Big game against 100 Thieves as well. that Narband tells me that they might be looking to secure Fiora for Bradley. That Gwen takeaway too. We'll see if TLA decides to lock that in now, or of course they could take the jungler to match 5.
All right, we're gonna see what that lock-in is. I'm waiting right now because I'm curious on these solo lanes as well. Darshan versus Bradley is a pretty hyped matchup into that regard. So much experience on Darshan. He's been in the scene for so long. Bradley, rather newer if you think about it, just because of that role swap alone.
Ooh.
Now Armeo going to the Xin Zhao, and I like it. I actually do like it in this context because it pairs very, very well with the Lulu.
And it's new for TLA. Armeo has not played this the entire summer. PG Academy regular season, it is not on the docket for him, so TLA showing more stuff here in the losers finals as now C9. Oh man, all this point and click and the ability for C9 to find engages and river fights is going to be so difficult for TLA to deal with as they add to that, taking the Ornn and the Rakan. And I gotta say, Bradley's Fiora looking damn juicy right now. It might be the call.
All right.
Could be
drum
GP.
roll. Do you want it to happen, Cubby?
GP Fiora.
You want it to happen?
Yeah, GP Fiora.
Let's pray for it, for the lock-in, and there it is, hovered, just waiting for the final lock-in. Team Liquid Honda Academy, happy to grab Bradley, that Fiora, putting a pretty strong solo lane over on that top side for Team Liquid.
And Darshan knows with the Ornn, like this is about the team fighting, right? And that really feels like the current meta. I know that with talking with Copy before the games today, I kind of asked him, like, hey, what was your team's response to that 0-3 against Dignitas? He said, I think we realized that this meta, it's really about team play, how we are able to execute fights, play as a team. And when I look at C9's comp, it's all about how they're going to be able to execute fights as a team. It's about getting in river, fighting over these objectives. And if they do not do that cleanly, Team Liquid Honda will be the ones that have the priority in their lanes with the Aphelios, with the Azir, with the Fiora. So very important that C9 is able to execute these early fights, especially around level 6 when they first get their ultimates.
Now, I want to know, how is this going to be impacted with stage play, Cubby? Because this is a different experience. Team Liquid Honda Academy, they're used to the stage. It's the same roster that they brought in spring. For Cloud9 Academy, a lot of these players, they haven't played on stage. Copy, one of them. Shaden, another.
I mean, as rookies, we're going to have to see how they respond. It's something that yesterday, I think 100 Thieves Academy, game 1, definitely took them a little bit to get used to being on stage. I think they had a couple long chases that they were going for that definitely looked like decisions that were interesting to us in the audience. But we'll have to see if C9 can come out strong game 1 and these rookies can show up. As excited to get into the Rift. First game of this best of 5.
First game, now ready to hit the Rift. Cloud9 Academy versus Team Liquid Academy. Winner gets to go to finals and face off against Dignitas, who was just waiting on the Rift. We now load on the first game of the day, Cubby.
Man, this has been a series, long time coming. 2021 Academy playoffs. 2 orgs that are still looking to go to Worlds. C9 booking their ticket. Team Liquid likely to have to go through EG and more in the lower bracket, but the developmental programs these teams have put together as well. Very impressive as they're in top 3 of PG, trying to book their ticket for top 2.
All right, as the Rift gets nice and cozy for us to take a little adventure through, we want to take a look at what Perry has to say. Someone waiting in the finals right now from Dignitas.
Thank you, Desrix. I got Perry, jungler here for Dignitas Academy, who is waiting to play one of these 2 teams in the finals. First off, what do you think of the draft and who's winning the series?
Personally, I want C9 to win. Who knows? I think TL is actually the favors in this draft and in this whole series. But C9, I want them to win. That's all I got to say.
All right, we've been talking about Armeo going through the gauntlet of rookie junglers. You are one of those junglers. Do you have any words for Armeo, any way to intimidate him?
All I'm saying, Armeo, is if you can't do this, I don't know what else you can do.
Back to you!
I was hoping for that. I was really hoping he was going to put his head on his head.
What? Okay, first of all, they didn't warn me that Kangas was going to be there. I'm angry about that one, but my God. Boy's got some flexibility. You know, we were just having a conversation about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He'd be pretty good at that.
Yeah, Perry's black belt, fun fact, on and off the Rift. The black belt, or Lee Sin, Udyr. Some of the favorites here of Perry, but hey, gotta get back focused on this game as it is mirrored starts here for each jungler, as it looks like Armeo working towards that bot lane, and Shaden reverse clearing towards that, or I should say full clearing towards that top side.
Now, Shaden at the early starts of the season, he was much more of a power farmer. It was the expected play that he would farm up in the jungle, and the rest of the team would kind of play towards him. Over the course of the split, he's been developing quite well and expanding a lot of those play styles. I think this Vi also follows through with it.
That's something I was really impressed with when it came to Shaden, because in solo queue, he was known for the Lee Sin, the Nidalee, and especially the Kindred Graves, which he was drawing bans for early, especially when it was the C9 sub-squad. But Shaden, as a rookie, has found ways to evolve his play. That's not something that's easy to do. It will be tested to the limit, though, against Armeo, who I feel like has been the best jungler in Academy. We keep on talking about this gauntlet of rookie junglers that he's gone through. All these guys are hyped up more than Armeo, but Armeo has been the one that consistently comes out on top and is the leader of the top team in Academy in TLA. Shaden has the opportunity to headshot him today, but Armeo, he hasn't let anyone get to him yet.
Has not. Almost. They almost got to him with the Immortals game, but not broken just yet. The General still holds his ground, which makes for such an interesting matchup when we have this very, very new rookie in Shaden showing up for his first season against Armeo. Someone so experienced and now putting that experience to work.
I love this from Armeo. He's up a camp. He was able to reverse clear, contest the top crab because, again, talked about in draft, his lanes have priority. So he could have gone for that bot crab, the easy one, but instead, he gets Shaden off the gromp. He's able to take this top crab. He's going to get a double crab start now. So Armeo already making his mark on this game, taking advantage of that counter pick he had against the Vi, using the Xin Zhao to power early.
That's that experience for you. Armeo has so much of it, has been well respected within the scene through so many other junglers who talk about his pathing, his intelligent play. It's what's brought Team Liquid back from the depths, back from the grave. And now still looking to show up here. But a rather tame game to start this one off. Nothing too finicky going off. I mean, we got one more game to get to the finals, so both of these teams not taking their chances.
I mean, the big thing here for C9, they don't want to do anything until they have 6, right? You want Vi ult, you want the Ornn ult. You want to find those river fights, especially around the Rift Herald, where you can execute on the carries of Team Liquid Honda so easily. So I think C9 trying to keep things quiet. Armeo getting a little bit of an early lead that he's been able to manufacture on his own. Gotta say, somewhat expected from both of our teams early here in Game 1. My eyes really go towards the Rift Herald and also towards the Dragon, because TLA, they have lane priority, again, everywhere on the map. If they are able to take a Dragon before that Rift spawns, that could really set them up to have a better Rift Herald contest. We'll see if that ends up being the play or if Armeo just wants to funnel himself.
And, you know, the better they do in the early stages, they being Team Liquid, the worse it really does get for Cloud9. Cloud9 are going to be looking for a lot of team fights. That's one of the big things that made Cloud9 so prominent. It's the team fight potential in the duo of both Shaden and Compy. Their roam ability, their ability to dive onto backliners. It is keen. It is keen. But Team Liquid want to make sure they stifle that early game to make that not a reality, as Shaden's going to start hovering around this bot side.
Good word from TLA. They synced that up, so Shaden taking a second clear now, going bot to top again. We're able to spot the Vi, and this bot lane now knows that they are safe. They have that crab in the river. They have another ward in their brush. Harry, assuming that Vi is on the Raptor, you can see TLA kind of pinging out that side of the map. They know exactly where Shaden is. We'll see if Armeo is able to make a move and capitalize on it. He has yet to base. So this first base for Armeo will be big. He's sitting on a lot of gold right now. Should be looking to get a whip after he clears out this Wolves camp.
Yeah, you can take a look at that gold right there. 1,500 gold that he's currently sitting on.
Iron Spike, whip and change. That's feels good as a jungler. No, it's a good start here.
He sounded like Joshi for a second.
He's rolling in the deep, man. He's got all that money. Oh, actually not going for the Iron Spike whip, just grabbing a Ruby Crystal instead.
All right, without acquired, now Shaden still trying to find his plan of attack. He's mostly been clearing out his jungle and playing for the full clear type style so far, just farming it up. Nothing too much to be had. They want a slow game. When it explodes, it's going to explode big.
Something I do want to revisit, mentioned earlier, that first Dragon. Armeo is pathing away from that at the moment. So does look like on the side of TLA will not be going for that Dragon before the Rift Herald spawns, which makes the Rift Herald contest even bigger priority here for each of our teams. And we already see that level 6 coming in for a couple of members of C9A. As Compy actually secures it with push, has swapped over to the Ignite, utilizing that spell book, hovering over in top river. Bradley does have a ward, so he feels safe enough to push that up, but that could be important, as again, once Shaden and Compy have 6, if they press R together on a target, talking about that teamwork, someone is going to die. They're able to execute that correctly, so TLA will have to be very wary of that as we move towards this Rift Herald fight.
Hell of a mid-jungle duo. Hell of one to see. Takes me back to, what was it? It was
Season
Immortals.
3. Oh, I'm going back to Season 3, man. TSM days, Odd One and Reggie playing this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Man, you're talking about Odd One and Reggie. We're talking about a general here. Someone who has another name of the general, Odd One himself. Similar styles. Not really the most mechanical players, but very, very impactful.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing I will give them credit for, too, they played a little bit faster than what TLA is playing at the moment, as, again, just trying to utilize some of that lane priority, as Ayla did see Destiny sneak in here. That will give them enough information to try and take this crab for themselves. So, again, TLA doing what they do best in this early game, which is playing control.
Easy control acquired there. That duo of both the Lulu and the Xin Zhao, it's a hard combo to fight. Just that support jungle, the damage that it brings, the utility that Lulu is able to bring to the Xin Zhao, makes it hard to get away from the Audacious Charge 3 Talon Strike.
So at the moment, I will say for TLA, C9, Rift Herald is on the map. Armeo has all of his camps up on the bot side, so he's cruising through those at the moment. If C9A wanted to pull Tickle the Rift Herald, started off, it would be now. So Shaden's going over, clearing out that control ward. That is information that is spotted by the side of TLA. And Harry now with the blue buff will have control over this mid wave. So you can see Darshan rotating towards that Rift Herald at the moment. If TLA are able to get them off of it, that could be big. And actually, it looks like TLA, they're just going to make a trade. So understanding you do not want to fight the buy plus Ahri at level 6. Going to be a trade of objectives here early.
Yeah, it's not just the buy and the Ahri, it's Darshan. You were talking about him coming down. Call the Forge God. Great tool for a team fight. Gonna pay respects there and go for the straight up trade. Still a hard shoving coming out from TL.
Yeah, I gotta say, this trade for TLA is fine. Yon just got his second plate. Dragon's being taken by Armeo, so it's not like it's the fastest Dragon stack in the world, but I think TLA doing a good job of recognizing, hey, this is a timer where we feel like Cloud9 Academy can beat us in a fight. We do not want to give them that timer. We're just gonna trade elsewhere.
Not letting those ultimates get to them just yet. Team Liquid Academy Honda kind of playing this very carefully, very controlled. Now it's up to Cloud9 Academy to figure out where they're going to place that Rift Herald, where they want to spike that gold.
Gotta believe it's gonna be mid lane or bot. The tough part about bots that Aphelios Lulu does have so much push in this matchup, as Destiny is gonna be looking to wombo with the buy plus Ahri. So Destiny gonna be a little bit more value out of lane than he is in lane against this Lulu. At the moment, we'll see if he does end up making that roam. Again, a very quiet start to this one. It is TLA, slight advantage off their laning, but as you mentioned, Deserux, all about where that Herald's dropped.
Now, I didn't finish the point earlier about mid-jungle duos.
Okay.
But just watching some of the stuff Shaden and Copy do as a mid-jungle duo, I remember watching that Immortals game, and it was Copy on Yasuo, Shaden on Gragas, and it was some of the nastiest assassinations I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Shaden would just chuck that barrel and follow through with Copy. Instant assassinations. Joey was one of the recipients of that one. I remember that specifically because I did the prospect video, and that was one of the clips I took down. Ooh,
oh, here we go.
This. Already gonna put that to work. The cease and desist gonna pop up Harry, but Ayla is there for some protection. Pops the ultimate onto Harry. Copy getting chased down. Efforts to find, pushes him right over to Armeo, but Copy will flash over the wall. So low he is. Harry will take him down, and first blood goes over to Team Liquid Honda Academy.
And the hover from Ayla matching that reset from Destiny. He guessed that Destiny was gonna walk mid. Ayla on the hover was able to help Harry get out. TLA able to turn in the back half.
Turn it around and get a kill in the mid lane onto Copy, onto that high priority Ahri, shut down Copy. It's gonna be a big play coming out. Harry looking so good on that Azir as Ayla gets chased out of C9's jungle.
And that's so big for the side of TLA because, again, we're looking at those ultimates, trying to wombo. And this is well executed from C9. Just everyone press her on the same target. This is what the comp wants to do, but Ayla, the hover over the wall. Harry's able to flash out, and then Harry on this re-engage cancels the last charge of Spirit Rush from Copy. That's the big play that makes sure that this goes in TLA's favor. As Team Liquid Honda, they strike first.
I did not see that. Cubby canceled the Spirit Rush. Absolutely ruthless play coming out of Harry, but it gives Team Liquid a lead into this early game, and it's one they're going to take quite well, making sure that Cloud9, they will not play to their tune of the team fight.
And look at that item differential now in the mid lane, as it is a Leandri's for the Azir, like that into the health stackers on the top side. Whereas Ahri, not even close to that Everfrost, the other big spike that she's really looking for in that early game. So not only is that a big play to turn that around, but now Azir so far ahead. That's mid-priority for TLA, pretty much moving forward until these turrets fall. And keep in mind, it's still a Rift Herald on the side of C9A. The plan there was to get the kill on Harry and drop that mid, the funnel plates into Ahri. So TLA denies that as well. And we'll have to see where Shaden throws down the Rifts, looking like the best options top.
Now Darshan looking for the dive. Call the Forge God goes off. It's going to be blocked by the parry. Shaden will not land the Vault Breaker onto Bradley.
Wait.
He's going to be okay. No plays working out for Cloud9 so far.
Drop. Rift is dropped, so will be plates going over to Darshan. Bradley just going to reset. He will TP back to this turret to make sure that not too much falls, but 3 plates going over to the Ornn. Gotta say, that's a win. And look at where TLA is playing. They're getting gold on the Yawn, onto Aphelios, and Bradley on top side.
Oh, Bradley! It doesn't matter if it's 2v1. He will chase you down on this Fiora and stick that needle right in.
And I gotta say, we're sitting up here in the caster booth. I heard a couple comms a little bit before. TLA was getting loud. Guess what? It was Bradley in the 1v2, able to find the kill on the Shaden. And this map, it's been all TLA, a comp where C9, they're trying to play around 6, play around these ultimates where they can combo as a team. It's been TLA breaking that game plan as a team themselves, giving no chance for C9 to get into this game.
They're attacking the right points. They're attacking the absolute right points. And even when it looks like things are going right for Cloud9, you've got those plates onto Darshan. It is Bradley teleporting back in and punishing the overstay.
Oh, gets the base cancel on the Shaden. Oh man, Shaden, a little bit of a greedy play there from the rookie on stage. Ends up falling, and again, TLA. Like, while that play was going on, because that Rift Herald was stopped mid, they were forced to give resources to Darshan. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but you're giving resources to an Ornn versus funneling an Aphelios. That's exactly what TLA were able to do with Yawn, who now with the Gale Force, that first turret's almost about to fall bot C9, trying to make a play to defend, but again, the vision control from TLA, it's too much. Plays denied, nothing for C9 to do on the map.
I mean, the thing they realize right now is that fuse has just been snipped so short. Team Liquid
is a little risky.
They're going to be looking for it, though.
They're down. Okay, Zeri's rotating over. Darshan's backing off the wave. He might use the TP. We'll see if TLA decides to contest.
Harry. Watch for Harry. He's looking for that opening with the Emperor's Divide. Copy's right there, but he has to wait out the Charm. Charm finally goes out. Okay. Harry's just going to back off. Dragon was acquired.
I do like that from TLA. Again, a team that has been top of the table for us for really the entire year of Academy, of course, trying to make their way into the grand finals now, but just realizing that Bradley used that TP to make that play top. Darshan on the Ornn had the advantage. Again, Team Liquid Academy. They deny a window that's winning for C9A by not taking that fight. I think that they're making really good decisions across the map in this early game as Shaden.
Ooh, the Rook goes in onto Destiny, but here comes Shaden. Cease and desist onto the backline. It will land onto Yawn, but Yawn still getting some distance. Finally going to fall to Shaden as Cloud9 send 4 to the bot lane to finally have a retort to the answer that Team Liquid have been bringing. Armeo goes down, but here comes Harry. Emperor's Divide goes out, lands onto 2, pulls them towards the tower, but doesn't take a single member down. Look at that top lane, though. All the meanwhile, it is Bradley claiming first brick by himself, and oh, solo is Cloud9. They have to bail.
So C9, they don't get the objective fight, but they do get something afterwards, but still traded out resources into Bradley. He's going to be a nightmare now in the side lane. Now being put ahead of Darshan, but still able to get something out of that TP. Zeri picks up a kill. Yawn gets taken off the map for a little bit, so no resources for him, but I don't think that's enough given what C9 invested into that play.
It is definitely not enough. I mean, I was talking about that ticking time bomb. It is usually an Aphelios for the late game, collecting oh so much. And even when we finally get the counterattack going through, it is still not finding what Cloud9 want from these fights.
I really like how Destiny utilized the Rakan there, going for the flash combo on a Yawn. He reacted to that flash very well. But again, Rakan, if you have people you can piggyback off of to get into the backline, it's so easy for you to engage. Destiny does that beautifully in this fight, finding Armeo in the back half as well. Harry tries to turn it. Not enough gas in the tank for him to pick up a kill. But still, I mean, off the back of that, it's TLA with a bigger gold lead than what they started with for that play.
Bradley got that turret up top. He collected it. He was left by himself. And that's what we've been seeing. The moment Cloud9 put resources one way, Team Liquid are able, for the most part, to defend against it and get something elsewhere.
Ooh, look at Shade.
Mostly playing off these turrets and plates. Now playing into the mid lane. Armeo.
Armeo.
Crescent Guard goes out. Destiny low, but Armeo perfectly fine. Now Bradley on the hunt for Copy. Puts down the challenge. Harry's going to get a kill onto Shaden. As Shaden falls, Bradley trying to beat the blast plant. Copy will get out, and so will Destiny, but it's not without a punish. Shaden falls as Team Liquid brutalize Cloud9.
And I think there, some of the poise from Armeo, just to hold on to his abilities, wait for that engage from Destiny and Shaden, and just use the Crescent Strike to get them out. That's really well done by someone. Again, Armeo, he has been the strongest jungler of Academy. I think that this split has done Armeo a lot of justice, and same with Champskew. So I know, like, from talking with some of the coaches and GMs around the scene, Champskew, they've just realized that Armeo is a damn good player. He's someone that, you know, going from TSM to Dig, kind of a journeyman among some of these orgs, bouncing back and forth between LCS and Academy.
Even in the old developmental Echo Fox.
Yeah, but in Champskew, Armeo is consistently top 20, consistently top 10 on the leaderboard, and in Academy, consistently the best performing jungler that we have. Patience there, beautiful from Armeo, as C9A, seeing the Rift Herald taken, try to find a play on the bot side. Bradley is in trouble.
Now here comes Shaden.
No ult.
Ball breaker, going for Bradley.
Oh.
Bradley's tough right now. He's collected a lot of gold from those plates, from those towers, and now he can put it to work alongside Harry. Harry looking for the Emperor's Divide, can't get the angle. Shaden gets away. King waiting in the wings. Team Liquid chasing away Cloud9.
And C9, going for a play like that, 3-man on the Bradley, you can already tell C9 are really looking for solutions to this game. The game plan for a Viari comp, it is fight the first Rift Herald, fight the early dragons. You take every objective fight you can just to press R and try and find something. C9 were only able to find that play bot, which TLA answered evenly for gold on the Bradley. And we see Bradley there. They can't get him out of the side lane already.
This is going fast. This is snowballing incredibly fast for Team Liquid. The charge goes out. That's another tower going down. Bot lane inner tower acquired by TL. And they should get another bash here.
Oh, boy.
We're going to run through, trying to get the angles Copy, but the eye doesn't even show. So another bash onto inhibitor tower. All these small plays. It is not anything spectacular and huge. It is small, calculated plays with big, big impact that Team Liquid are doing.
And again, but before the game, you know, catching up with Copy, asking me a few questions. What did you learn from falling to Dignitas? It was more focus on the meta, the teamwork that's required. I think we've seen Cloud9 have a few attempts at utilizing those ultimates as a squad. But like that mid lane fight, I think Destiny Shaden went early. Darshan wasn't in position yet. And that bot lane play, that was the only positive play they found. It just wasn't the right play on the map. So I think this comp for C9, while, you know, is demonstrating some of the, you know, teamwork to try and get there, it hasn't been enough, and TLA has just had all the answers this game.
Are you ready for the Chadley zone? We're here.
Oh, already?
He's at that point now.
Game
He's
one?
1-0-0. And he's already this far ahead that he's basically diving onto Copy. You can look at the gold right there. Already has a 700 gold lead against Darshan. But even looking at the bottom lane, that's 1.4k against Copy. He's been cashing in. He's been doing well. He got that turret over on the top side and now is having a big impact on the total map for Team Liquid.
Just not enough gas in the tank here for C9. I think something else really making things difficult for them, that Banshee's Veil onto Harry. The Vi already execute. They have to get Banshees off the Azir, who already has a lot of disengage in his kit too to try and make anything happen. So dropping that dragon fight, 2 dragons for TLA as it is Infernal Soul on the Rift. We do have Baron on the map now. TLA trying to clean up their setup. All focus will be on Baron. And again, I think C9, the biggest comeback mechanic we're looking for. Play 4 picks. Try and set something up with this Vi, Ahri, Rakan duo. Or else they're just going to have to wait and pray that King shows up big in the late game.
I don't even see a team fight chance coming out. And this is something they've kind of drafted to, having both the Ornn and his backline dive. You'd be waiting for a very, very long stall out to get into that scenario. Team Liquid aren't the ones to let this go into later stages of the game. They know how to close out when it comes towards the mid game. And they're showing their phenomenal early game once again, as we've seen many times during the Academy regular summer season.
And when this team gets leads, they do not let go.
No.
80% of games they're ahead at 15-minute mark. TLA turn into victories. That's a damn good percentage for a team that, I mean, 29-7 in the regular season. Pretty unheard of as, again, TLA trying to earn the right to defend their title tomorrow against the team that put them in the lower bracket themselves, in Dignitas, who also put C9 here, worth mentioning.
And it's important to note that when we look at the regular season for Team Liquid, you know, look at their performances, look at their losses. Wasn't too often where it felt like it was actually, got to pull that right now because Bradley's going really hard onto this dive.
False out.
Looking to find Destiny, looking to find Shaden. Still charging forward, but will just chase Cloud9 out.
But even something like that, I mean, you just got Flash out of Shaden. You got the jungler to base. That's so much pressure now onto C9 that they could be on Baron. Fortunately, Bradley will be spotting going towards this wave, so Cloud9 Academy can reasonably assume it's not going to be a Baron start here for the side of TLA, but when you look at Yawn, if he completes that LDR, we already have the Yandries on Harry. That Baron takes really quick for the side of TLA, so C9 have to be concerned, and now Shaden's not on the map yet. Copies bot. Darshan's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of damage without a lot returned by Cloud9.
There's some.
He has to burn the flash. That's the only way he gets out. Team Liquid, huge punish right there. That's your engager who's running for the heals.
And again, playing this beautifully. We talked about the draft for TLA. Azir has pushed early. Aphelios has pushed in this matchup. Fiora beats the Ornn. Look what TLA is doing. They're just pushing out their lanes, bleeding out summoner spells from the side of Cloud9 Academy. And, you know, the more tools you take away, the harder it is to execute this big wombo combo pick comp that C9A is going for. So more and more as we get deeper into this game, the win con for Cloud9 Academy, it is go late, have these meatballs in front of the Zeri, and pray that King can carry.
Hope for the pick of your life. King, carry it, copy, land the charm of a lifetime.
A charm that would charm us all in the audience here. Fortunate to have a few people joining us in the audience. LCS studio. First time we have had a live audience for a Proving Grounds event. There we go. Love to hear a few people we got in the crowd. As both these teams trying to put on a show. We'll say the show, though, really has been stopped by the side of TLA, as C9A has not been able to get on the map. It's been all Team Liquid Honda, as nothing is stopping this early game. And we'll have to see if this Dragon, if C9A is able to find any angle, but it's so hard for them to get control over the waves over the map at the moment.
And look at Team Liquid in the mid lane, holding wave control over there, now transferring that over to the jungle of Cloud9 Academy, and denying so much vision. Even right there with the double control wards being placed down, you're starting to feel the desperation that's coming out of Cloud9. They try and find an answer in. Here comes the Assault and Battery. Lands onto Yawn, who flashes out. Armeo deep in with the Crescent Guard. He hasn't lost a drop of health. Finally, the knockup comes in from the Call of the Forge God. Wow. But here comes the cavalry of Team Liquid, destroying Darshan. Destiny going straight for the tower, as Cloud9 have no chance in this fight.
Armeo hasn't played a game of Xin Zhao competitively all split. He is playing the Xin so well. He understands his role this game. Look at how he was just able to protect the backline. The one chance that C9A has, you know, burning TPs, trying to find an engage where they have numbers. Armeo stops it in its tracks solo with how he played Xin Zhao that fight.
The General showing up, holding the line for his soldiers, and getting Team Liquid in prime position for victory, for Baron, for this game.
And Armeo, again, I remember talking with Armeo after the regular season ended. He felt like he had a really good second round robin. He had a damn good second round robin. And for Armeo, you know, he took it personally that everyone's hyping up these rookie junglers. He knows he is still the guy. Look at how he bodyguards this. Crescent Guard pushes back both the carries, eats the charm, takes no damage, and that buys the time for TLA to regroup. Beautiful parry lands on the Darshan. One kill, that's all TLA needs. They burned all the tools from C9, free Baron for them. Wonderfully played from Armeo and TLA.
Armeo's so good. Armeo's so incredibly good, so storied.
It's just, it's easy, you know? He makes it look easy.
He makes it look incredibly easy. He makes me believe I have a chance at League of Legends. Shaden now onto the top end, looks for Bradley. Ayla is there for the protection. Cloud9, even having a numbers advantage, realize they have no match against Bradley once he gets going on this Fiora. Harry holding this permanent push with the Azure Tower into the mid lane. The lane states so strong for Team Liquid in every single end. Even in the bottom lane where you have it pushing for Cloud9, there's still a tower available.
TLA taking a quick reset here with that Baron. I do want to return to that Armeo point, because, you know, not only is Armeo trying to get through all these rookie junglers, there are also a lot of guys that really respect him. Notably Tomio. You know, we talked a lot about their relationship, how close they were. We were talking to Tomio yesterday in the audience. He came actually to see Armeo play against 100 Thieves Academy. So it's not only the fact that he's garnered the respect of us here on the broadcast, but also a lot of his peers. I think that always speaks more than anything that we can say for Armeo, too. And yeah, I mean,
no one has anything bad to say about him.
I mean, yeah, seeing him show up game 1 of the series is a real treat against Shaden, who really deserving a lot of the hype that we are giving him and some of his peers are giving him as well, given his solo queue achievements and how quickly he has been able to adapt to the competitive stage as a rookie. Just not quick enough this first game against Armeo, who has really gotten the best of him and done a great job controlling this game so that his laners, who had winning lanes, could play them out and make sure they were the ones getting pushed, getting advantages for the side of TLA.
I mean, for Shaden, this is his first split. It's his rookie split. You know, he's starting off. He still has a lot to learn, whereas Armeo has gone through the pro scene before. We've talked about the different teams that he has played on. It is a wealth of experience to have. He has them here for Team Liquid, setting up a 1-4, looking to close this out, looking to take inhibitors.
And the only way they're going to get Banshees off of Harry is if Zeri does. Okay, well, I guess Rakan just gets it with a Q there over the wall. Well done by Destiny. That will open up windows for C9 to try and find a miracle engage on the team, Liquid Honda, but I think it's too much at this point as TLA cruising to a Game 1 victory, 4-2 on the scoreboard, but a 9K gold lead in their pockets. Really good execution of this draft from TLA to kick off the series. Their form to wrap up against 100 Thieves Academy in Game 4 yesterday was outstanding. They have picked up right where they left off.
Team Liquid, when they faced off against Immortals, it was one of the most... It was one of the times we've seen them look vulnerable, but ever since they've adapted so well, this adaptation coming into the team fight as here comes Cloud9. They try and find an engage, but the engage is working awry as King goes on to Yon. Already 1 kill acquired, but is it going to be enough to get Cloud9 back into this? Harry's going to say no as the soldiers stand the line right in front of Darshan, right in front of King, TPs, daring them to go forward.
Watch Copy. Copy could TP if he wants. Darshan also has his up. This might be the best opportunity for Cloud9 to get back in this game. It doesn't look like they have enough gas in the tank. Their ults are down, and they will let Team Liquid retreat. It is a 1-for-1 trade, but they do knock down the second inhibitor.
2 inhibitors down, and that is looking like the end. At this point, it is just going to be recollecting themselves, but a nice final attempt coming out of Cloud9.
And we see them find the Wombo. It was a great engage from Destiny. Again, that's followed up by the Ahri able to reposition with Everfrost from Copy. Dawn falls immediately. King's pumping out damage, but look at Bradley. He's level 17 frontlining on this Fiora. No one can deal with him.
Not a single person can deal with the Chadley. In the top side, he cashed in on that early tower.
Yeah.
He got it. And ever since, he's just been a complete menace to Darshan since he's gotten this matchup.
And now, looking at that mini-map, you can see there's only 1 lane left for the side of Team Liquid Honda and some of the players just hanging out there in the mid lane as they're waiting for Bradley to set things up for them. Dragon spawning here in 45 seconds. That will be the setup. But the real objective here is going to be that Baron, as I think TLA 1 Baron away from making sure that this is a clean Game 1 going in their favor.
I always get so shocked when players do lane swaps and find the level of success that you see. I know you're hyped up on Busio, but of course, we got Bradley right here, who, I mean, for his first year being into this role, he's performed so damn well.
Hey, we talked about earning the respect of peers. Darshan giving him some love in the pregame thoughts that we had, you know, talking about Bradley. And this was a top lane matchup I was excited for. I think that a lot of us here feel like Tenacity is the flashiest top laner that we have in Academy. But Bradley and Darshan in our summer regular season, they were the ones that were the most consistent. They also had the best laning stats. As Darshan first in gold diff of 15, Bradley was second. A lot of that was done, you know, Shaden did play through Darshan a little bit. Bradley, I would say more so on his own. Benefiting from TLA just being a winning team. 29-7, you can put up some pretty good stats when your team's doing that. But seeing Bradley and how he's been able to evolve throughout this split, he's someone that was always a dynamite team fighter. Seeing him be able to improve in lane and get himself into better positions to take advantage of his good decisions and good vision in team fights, it's really upped his stock as a top laner in Academy.
And, you know, for a lot of the cases, not to let tilt get to him. There's been a lot of times where Team Liquid lose game number 1, and Bradley doesn't perform that well on the top side. It doesn't look that clean for him. What happens in game number 2? He bounces back strong, he bounces back hungry, and he ends up stomping his lane, yeah, at least most of the time. I mean, Bradley is great at adjusting to high-stress situations.
So the inhibitor's down bot, but with Baron spawning, Bradley gonna set up this 4-1 nicely as TLA complete control over mid with the inhibitor down. They did shove out top. Bradley now pressuring the bot side. I don't think he can hit the Nexus turrets, but that is enough for TLA to start this Baron, and it's not contested. C9 wants something else.
Oh, here goes Bradley. He's running. He will parry the cease and desist and keep on jogging out of there. King trying to find something onto the back end, but Bradley is too damn fast, man.
Bradley making C9A feel pretty sadly there. They were not able to catch up to him as, oh, hold on.
Wait a second. All right, round 2. Ding, 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 it's over. Bradley wins.
Grand entrance was dodged, and that is the third inhibitor falling in favor of TLA, and that's got to be the game.
Yeah, this has got to be the game.
Yeah, going out with a whimper.
A rough start for Cloud9. Team Liquid Academy, they look like they came to play. Absolutely dominant. Looking like their regular season form so far, as they're going to look to close out right now, still leading a lot of these waves in. And now Cloud9, it's up to them to find a response, but let's face it, this is going to be the end right here.
Yeah.
Ooh, now jumping in. Yawn! He just blew them up! And this is done. This is dusted. This is Team Liquid Honda Academy taking game number 1 of this best-of-5 series here in the LCS Proving Grounds.
And the control that TLA had, again, picking up right where they left off yesterday, Desirux, as Armeo, big smile on his face, taking that Xin Zhao for the first time on stage this summer, and looking like he was a Xin Zhao master, man. He played so well, so controlled that game. And we'll see how C9A is able to bounce back from that, as that team fight comp, the pick comp they had early, just weren't able to find the early kills they needed to really form this death ball they needed, push the game forward, and get TLA off their game.
And it all started with the perfect plan of attack. Go after copy, focus in to that mid lane. Harry and Armeo made sure that he was going to have no presence, no agency, and when Shaden doesn't have his teamfight partner, it felt like Shaden didn't know what to do in that game.
It was tough. Like, again, with Viari, you're looking to really fight heavily around the first few objectives, utilize the power of your ultimates to just center on one target, get that first kill, and then snowball the fight from there. But the hovers from Ava and the way that TLA understood what C9 wants to do, and that Xin Zhao pick again, Armeo the general. Hey, we always love when the general's on the front lines. That Xin Zhao was eating everything that he needed to protect his teams, his big backliners that ended up carrying the fights for him. And just, really sound performance from TLA.
And if this is the Team Liquid we have right now, ever since they bounced back from that Immortals game, this is looking like our finals is already set. If they can stay into this form, a lot of our analysts were predicting 3-0s, Cubby.
I'm aligned with them, but hey, it's a best-of-5, play the games for a reason. And again, that comp from C9A, if it doesn't get going, things can get ugly unless you're able to get Zeri to the late game. Because of TLA's clean play, we're not able to do that. We'll see if Cloud9 Academy has any other strats up their sleeves, or they can execute that one a little bit better in Game 2.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're able to bring next, because Cloud9, it's their last shot. This is lower bracket finals. You've already used up 1 life. There has to be a bounce back here.
Yeah, and I think that, C9, like, this split, what we've seen from them in Proving Grounds, it's been not as dominant as what we saw in the regular season. But when we look at these players, obviously Shade and Copy are impressive rookies, but also what Darshan, King, Destiny have been able to accomplish overseas and here in North America, these are players that have pedigree. And when we have players with pedigree, we expect them to step up in best-of-5s. I know that C9A, that series against Dignitas wasn't one that inspired us as a broadcast team, but these are players that have been able to clutch out games in history in the past, and I really hope they step up, give us a series here. But man, if you're in the TLA camp right now, you're just
feeling pretty good.
Yeah, you're able to eat some snacks and move forward from there. It's pretty easy.
All right, next up, we have a few words from Team Liquid Honda's Harry on his opponent, Copy.
Copy, I think there's a lot of eyes on him. He hit rank 1 in CQ, and people really hyped this guy up. I think he's a bit overhyped, if I'm being honest, and I don't see anything too special about him, but he's pretty consistently good for his team, and I think he fits he does his role really well, like on C9, and I think he is a key part of their success. So yeah, similar to Jimin, I don't think it'll be too much of a challenge.
Game 1 in the books, but it's time for players to clap back at the on-air talent here, as we have Diamond joining us on the desk for a segment that we are calling That's Cap. Diamond, you've been very vocal on social media about some of the takes that casters might have about you, about other players, about some of the teams and power rankings. So we're going to give you the opportunity to tell us how cap some of the broadcast takes are, okay?
Yep.
So we have 0. That's a true statement, basically.
That's facts.
If you choose to stay there, that's a fact. That's not cap. But the further along that you come towards the cap, that's the worse the statement is, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody aligned? Everybody good? Let's take a look at the first one, Diamond. And you have to look at the screen. Tell me, is this statement that was said by one of the broadcast members fact or cap? This was Cubby during preseason. Going into the summer split, he said that Insanity would be a 7th place mid laner. Now he's in the finals. All right, how cap is this?
It's
how cap?
come here.
Oh, okay.
It's a 7.
That's
It's just 7th place.
a 7's not even on the bar, on the capometer.
Out of 5.
The capometer, capometer. I like capometer more.
Capometer, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna imagine that there's a 7 on there. That's
I mean,
where
Insanity's been like playing really well, and like he's been actually carrying Dignitas like quite hard. I think he's like really good at like the older picks like Talia, and I think he's one of the best Talia in Academy, if not the best. And he's been showing, and people are opening against him like out of disrespect. So he's kind of farming everyone. So I think you can't be like a consistently like decent LCS mid and then go into Academy and be a 7th place LCS, like 7th place Academy mid. Doesn't work, you know?
He's gotten some LCS reps in.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's probably the most cap. If that's a 7, maybe he's just going to go off the stage for every single one. Yeah, there's only so much room that we have over here.
As they say.
Let's take a look at number 2, though. The second take here. I actually can't see the screen, so you're going to have to read that one out for me. Do you have your glasses on? Contacts?
TL Academy.
TL Academy.
Top 5 team.
Top 5 team in LCS. This top 6. This was a Joshi take, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they just won. They just won that last game. So how? Oh,
it's a 5.
It's a 5.
It's a 5. I think people don't understand like the gap, and I think like they lost to Dignitas Academy, and I memed about it on Twitter that like if they're a top 6 team, then Dignitas Academy is a top 5 team, and then what is the top 5 team in Academy right now? I mean in LCS. That would be
top 5. That'd be like C9, CLG.
Yeah.
And
Do
above,
you think Dignitas Academy is better than C9, CLG or C9?
Look, okay, I said this in the regular season. I think regular season Team Liquid Academy might be the way that they play in Proving Grounds.
Okay. Okay.
So
but they're kind of back to form.
All
right.
right.
Think you can boot up the TLA team right now against C9 and they beat them?
I think they did beat CLG.
All right, well, you know what? This is Diamond's capometer, Joshi. This isn't defend your own take, okay? He said it was a 5. I'll take a look at the next one here. What's your thought on this next take that was said on broadcast? Diamond, defend the players. All right, Joshi, I'm actually having you read the prompts for me here.
Cubby's take earlier on in the middle of the season, Shaden will win more MVPs than Blabber over the course of his career.
Did he?
Ooh.
Did he?
Blabber has 2.
Blabber has 2 MVPs. So Cubby thinks that over the span of Shaden's career, he'll get more MVPs.
How many does Shaden have right now?
Shaden has 0. He's in Academy. He's not in LCS. Oh, all right, come on over. Get on over. Yeah, here. Let's.
I'll go with a 4 this one. I'm the 4.
Ooh.
I think Blabber like set the bar really high for junglers in LCS. And I think when he played in Academy, he was the GOAT, like the junglers in Academy. Like he was making fun of everyone.
Yeah.
And I think people might not remember that because of his stint like with the crabs and stuff. But Blabber was that guy, you know. When I played with Blabber, he was making fun of everyone. So I think Shaden's good. I think he has potential. I don't think like Blabber is like career will end like this. I think personally.
So you're saying it's not a 5 or a 7, like it's impossible. Like there's no way.
I think
but it's unlikely.
It's unlikely because I think Blabber will keep like being like the center of C9, you know.
I like how it's the Blabber side, not the Shaden side, though. It's not that Shaden isn't good enough.
I got my boy's back.
It's that Blabber is too good.
Blabber's
okay.
GOAT.
So a 4 out of 5 on the capometer. Let's take a look at the next one here.
All right, we got a different one. It's not me nor Cubby. We got Mazel coming through. Amateur teams will only win 3 games in Proving Grounds. That was before start.
Against Academy teams. Amateur versus Academy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we're at, I think, 12. I'm pretty sure 12 was the final
Obviously,
tally.
it's cap, but I would have put it like kind of in the middle because I don't think the amateur teams are that good.
Okay.
Personally. I think they're kind of bad, but I think a lot of the Academy teams are worse.
Why do you think there was a difference or a gap between amateur and Academy going into Proving Grounds? Because a lot of us had that sentiment too.
I think like a lot of Academy teams like suck the talent from the previous Proving Grounds. You know, there's not that many good players left.
Okay.
From, this year, so a lot of the really good players got moved up, and like a lot of like the amateur teams don't have like the funding that Academy teams.
So you're saying
so it should be
the pipeline is working.
I was gonna say I was like we're funneling them through. All the top amateur players are now in Academy.
Yeah, I think like for me like most of the players got moved up, so there wasn't that many left, and like the teams that were like had like good players, like for example No Org, like they kind of like stopped, and like their team like just died randomly. So so I think like it's like unlikely, you know.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Diamond. That is our fact or cap, or rather that's cap segment with our signature capometer. With that said, though, we're going to throw it to a short break before we are back for game number 2. See you there.